Yewo Farm CEOs. My name is Gilbert Mwale, and it's so good to be back here. And it's been a minute since I've done this, and the simple reason is that we have just had quite an overwhelming experience of people requesting for farm supervisors, and we had to deal with that. And it's exciting to see how farm CEOs are embracing this responsibility of having the right team members on their farms. So we are busy with that. Now, besides that, we also had an exciting time this last weekend where we just had our masterclass, and we were able to speak to different farm CEOs about their farming experiences and their farming activities, and how well the recruitment, the kind of team they should be having on their farm, the strategies and the business systems that they should be also employing on the farms. So it was exciting to see what they could actually learn, and as well as also give back as feedback on how we can do this better. So we definitely are going to be having a better one coming next month, and I wish to see you there. Please don't miss that. Please look out on our website, www.agrijobs with a Z, jobs with a Z.com. You should be able to find the events at least throughout this week, maybe a day or two from now. It should be able to show up there. Please look out for that, and let us have a good time together, learning on how you can be able to run your farm remotely, because it is very possible and doable. So now there's a thought that came out during the masterclass that I wanted us to share with us today, and it is on a thought around how do I think is the ideal way that somebody must get into agriculture. Somebody must get into the business of agriculture. So, because our push at IMSICA is not agribusiness, but business in agriculture. So we are pushing that you should think business first before the agriculture of it, before the science of growing or producing anything. You should think first the business of it. So how does that look like? Well, as someone who usually says I was born, a farmer, it is simply because my dad, when I was born, I found that, by the time I could start understanding, like what's happening, is that he already had a farm, and he was already farming, primarily maize and tobacco for commercial purposes. And we went to the farm, we planted, we did whatever thing you could do at your level or age at that point. But that was the journey that literally I had over time, and that is, by the time I was going to university, I was literally still participating in all that. Grew my own tomatoes with a good friend of mine at that time, and it did so well. Obviously the price didn't do well, but the crop itself was just amazing. So farming, and then I jumped into business of supplying agricultural inputs to farmers. And for the last decade, I've done that either through e-commerce, through retail. I've literally done that. So I've been in the farming space, and I've seen people who are winning, who are losing, small-scale farmers, emergent farmers. I've seen commercial farmers, and with different ways. I've mingled with people who fund farmers and people who support them with technical knowledge and all those things. So I've literally seen that, that whole entire ecospace. And the question for me has always been, what is the best way possible that we can be able to get into agribusiness? And here's my thought. So my thought around this is, I feel like, you as someone who wants to get into farming, it will be wise that you first of all get into the business of what you want to grow before you actually grow it. Because the biggest problem that everybody who begins to grow or keep things gets to be hit with as a reality is that there's an issue of market. Where should I sell these things? And I don't think that there's a problem particularly with markets, because as you would know, people need these things. But then the challenge that comes in is that, remember, you are new to this space, so you don't know where to find those people who need these things. You also don't know at what price they need those things. You also don't know the weight, and all those other intricacies that come with selling this particular item that you're growing or keeping. So this is something you must be factoring as you are trying to learn how to actually do this business of whatever crop or vegetable or animal or livestock, to be specific, that you want to get into. So you need to think about the business component. You need to think about, where is it sold, for how much, and in what measurement do they sell it at. If you can't answer these questions with precision, you don't have a list of 3-5 people who actually buy this thing on a regular basis, and the prices that they buy for, in the measurement that they buy for, and you have not tested how much they need of this product by yourself, I feel like you should hold off from the science of agriculture, which is the growing or keeping of whatever it is that you're thinking about. First of all, I think that what you should do is that, number one, you want to be able to say, let me go out and go and sell this product. So I'll give an example. If you want to, get into the milk space, or you want to get into the, layers, you want to start, you're interested in getting into layers so that you can produce the outcome, which is the eggs that are sold as in trays. My suggestion for you is that before you ever, put up a chicken run, buy cages, and run around trying to figure out, what kind of layers are the best to keep and all those things, before you do all that, what I would encourage you to do is that, first of all, find people that actually already are doing that. And then don't ask them only about, what are the lessons to learn for you to be able to vaccinate these chickens, what's the best way of collecting the eggs. Yes, those are good questions. Technically, that is the science of agriculture that you're trying to understand there. What I would prefer that you start with, first of all, on this side is, can you buy 5 or 2 trays from them, and then bring those 2 to 5 trays at home and figure out where you're going to sell those trays? Because I can assure you, chances are high, if you ask the people that you bought those trays from, who have been teaching you how to keep layers or keep, broilers or whatever it is, grow whatever vegetable it is, chances are they may not tell you exactly where to sell these things, because they are keeping that market for themselves as well. But if they're generous enough to tell you where they are selling, so I'd advise that you buy a few trays and take them and start selling them. Sell 1 tray. Understand how happy people are with the price at which you are putting them at. Come back with 3 trays. Come back with 4 trays. If the demand is increasing, and increase that demand all the way to the point where, you are reaching a place where you are being overwhelmed by the requests from the people that are buying from you. Now, at this point, you are doing maybe 30 trays, 50 trays, in a month or in a week, whatever it is, and you know that this is consistent. And then I want you to now start thinking about the business side. Ask yourself a question, that if I actually had 200, 300, 500 layers, how many eggs would I get from those layers that would supplement on the efforts that I'm already getting from the people that I'm buying the trays from? There will be a difference in amount. Imagine if you kept your own birds, there will be a margin difference that you would make extra. Ask yourself whether it is worth the effort, the struggle of dealing with farm workers, struggle with dealing with, the logistics of keeping these birds and all these things. Ask yourself whether that struggle, the risk of doing that, is worth the effort and is worth the margin, the extra margin that you're going to make. If it is, then now this is when you're jumping in. Knowing that you already have a market of 30 trays, 50 trays, 100 trays, 1,000 trays that are already going out to a group of customers who are eagerly waiting for trays from you. Now you can begin to fill that up with your own production, and hence relying less on your suppliers, because now you can supply a part of that. So you can start replacing that 1,000 trays with 100 of your own, with 200 of your own, with 300 of your own. But the goodness with this is that in the event or in the times when you don't have enough, you already have a supply chain behind you ready to supply you, because you established good relationships with those that are already producing. But more than that, you have already established a wonderful relationship with those who are buying. You will never have to ask us, whether we have market for you, because you know where the market is by yourself. You also know how much they buy for. You also know in what measurement they buy. So please, this is my thought of the ideal way on how somebody must get into the business of agriculture. Start with the business first, sales, market first, and then approach the technical side of things, the science of agriculture, which is the production side. This is how we want to do things. Farm CEOs, let us wake up and begin to do this business rightly if we're going to make money out of it. Well, tell me what you think in the comments. Like this video. Please subscribe to our channel and let us know what you think about what we've said right now. Do you have a different concept? Do you have a different way that you think this could actually work better? Let us know in the comments so that other people also can see. How is it working for you? How is the direction you have taken, where you started out with production first and then you started figuring out where you're going to sell later? How has that worked for you? Thank you very much.